There's a lot of powerful people involved in this crime, a lot of powerful people. I remember when Tim Ballard told me, Eduardo, before you commit to this, I need to be very honest with you. We have a lot of friends, but we have a lot of enemies, and we will share those enemies with you. Are you okay with that? And you know what? When God calls you to do something, you can't say no. Evil triumphs when good people remain silent. And if they remain silent, they're not good people anymore because they're part of the problem. We have to do something. This movie is more than a movie, it's a movement.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Lilarose podcast. Today we're going to talk to Eduardo Verástegui, the filmmaker behind Sound of Freedom, a new movie that is killing it at the box office. It is beating out Indiana Jones, and it has already made $40 million at the box office. This is a film that only cost $14.5 million to make. It was a labor of love over 8 years by a lot of people. We're going to get into that in this interview. But it's about child sex trafficking. It's exposing the horror of the growing global industry of child sex trafficking. Eduardo is somebody that I have known over the last decade. He has been an incredible force for good. He has produced multiple movies like Bella, Little Boy, and now Sound of Freedom. Before that, he was a popular telenovela actor in Mexico, and after having a big conversion, dedicated his life to serving God. Sound of Freedom is his latest project. We're going to get into it. I encourage all of you to watch it. I know it's really hard. It's hard to think about, and it's certainly hard to watch a movie about something as heinous as child sex trafficking. I want to encourage you that Sound of Freedom was created in a very beautiful and very tasteful way where it lets you understand the problem and invites you into the compelling stories that we should know about without being offensive or without exploiting further the stories of these children through any kind of salacious sexualization of the actors or how the film was done. So I want to encourage you that I do think that this film is suitable for teenagers and certainly for adults, and I would encourage you to see it. So excited to welcome you, Eduardo, to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here with you, and thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. And, I'm just so happy to see the results of this movie after 8 years of working in this project and to see the movement, how it's growing and growing and growing. Wow, it feels, I feel sometimes that I'm dreaming and I don't want to wake up because sometimes those dreams are so real. And when you wake up, you want to go back to sleep, right? But I feel like now this is it's real and it's happening. And to see more than 3 million people, almost 4 million people show up the first week when we released this film, July 4th. And I just can't believe it that we beat Indiana Jones on July 4th. It's just so many miracles are happening. So happy.
It's incredible. So 8 years in the making, this film tackles human trafficking, this sex trafficking of children, an incredibly tough topic. Eduardo, how did you first find out about child sex trafficking? What made you interested in making this film?
I met Tim Ballard and his friends 8 years ago in Los Angeles, California. And when you meet a real hero, in one hand, you are very inspired. But on the other hand, when they told me what they do, these groups of ex-Navy SEALs, ex-FBI agents, ex-CIA agents, and they travel around the world undercover, rescuing children that are kidnapped for sexual exploitation. When they explained to me in details what these children are going through, I couldn't look the other way around, with my arms crossed and in silence. There's something that was burning inside of me. My heart, my soul was like burning. What was literally, I was like, I was in shock. I couldn't sleep for a few days. And I remember like yesterday when he looked at my face and he said, Tim Ballard, Eduardo, it's very sad what I'm telling you. But it's more sad now that you know it, man. If you do nothing, what are you going to do? And right there, friendship is like an elevator. Either your friends bring you up or they bring you down. Tell me who you hang out, I'll tell you who you are. Hanging out with these heroes, it's impossible for you to look the other way around. You want to imitate them. You want to become like them. And that's what happened. I asked myself, okay, what can I do? What can I do? I remember I closed my eyes for a second and I said, what if this is my son? What if this is my daughter? What if my son is missing and kidnapped and I never see him again? Oof, it was like, it was very heavy. And then I said, you know what? I don't want to wait for this tragedy to come to me, into my house, for me to wake up. I'm going to wake up now because there's a reason why you guys are telling me this information. I'm going to wake up now. I'm going to do something about it so this problem never happen again to any parents. I can only imagine. I mean, right now, as we're speaking, there's 57 children disappear in Mexico every day. Every 20 minutes, one more. And another one. And another one. 21,000 a year. These kids are being kidnapped, raped 10 to 15 times a day for many years. And after declined, these perverts, they don't want them anymore because they're not fresh anymore. That's the vocabulary that they use. These kids, they go to the second business in the black market of organs traffic. They open them and sell their organs. When you hear things like this, it's impossible to be quiet. So I asked myself, what can I do? I'm a filmmaker. I have a weapon of mass instruction and inspiration. A weapon of mass instruction and inspiration. Movies can move people. So let me ask you a few questions, Tim Ballard. How many kids you have rescued? And at that time he rescued, I don't know, it was like 4,000 children. I was like, wow. He said, no, don't say wow, Eduardo. I'm not the solution. What do you mean you're not the solution? I can be the solution for one child. And of course, if you save one child, you save the world, right? Thank God I'm the solution for thousands of kids. But we're talking about millions. This is beyond. This is too big. I'm not the solution. And then I said, okay, well, so this is only in America? No, this is a global problem. I mean, I heard about human trafficking, but very like maybe kids working in India. I didn't know details about child trafficking for sexual exploitation. So when they gave me the details, and then he started explaining to me this is a global problem, especially US and Mexico. US is the number one consumer of child sex in the world, number one consumer of child pornography, number one consumer of drugs. Mexico is the number one provider of those three. Okay, so if you live in the most powerful country in the world, you have the technology, you have the money, you have the intelligence, you have the army, you have the police. How come we don't finish this problem? And he said to me, because it's not a priority. It's not a priority. How can we turn this into a priority then? We need a movement. And that's when I realized movies can move people. Movies, they have the potential to start a movement. And that's when I decided I'm going to put pause in everything that I'm doing so I can dedicate 100%, everything, my life, everything, to this movie and to this movement. I made a promise to God that I will never stop until we end child trafficking. I want to join this army of love, join this army of brave hearts who are not afraid to say enough is enough. God's children are not for sale. And that's when I have been dedicating my life for the last 8 years in this beautiful, powerful movie called Sound of Freedom, directed by Alejandro Monteverde, my business partner. And this is the most important movie of my life.
Our sponsor for today is 7 Weeks Coffee. This is our first sponsor for the podcast. They are a pro-life coffee company. Their mission is amazing. They support the pro-life movement by giving 10% of their profits to pregnancy resource centers. They've already given over $150,000 to pregnancy resource centers. These are gourmet coffee beans that are mold-free, pesticide-free. It's also ethically sourced, meaning that it has pro-life values, not just in the pro-life organizations it's supporting and the pro-life cause it's supporting, but in how the company treats its workers. Why keep supporting Starbucks or Peet's or whatever coffee brand you're drinking? Why not support 7 Weeks Coffee, amazing world-class coffee, but that supports a good cause, a company that you can get behind? So go check out 7weekscoffee.com. That's SEVEN weekscoffee.com. You can put in your first order to join the movement for coffee that's pro-life. You can use the code Lila to get 10% off, LILA to get 10% off your order. Check it out. Join me in drinking 7 Weeks Coffee. Well, it's an incredible film, and along with millions of people who are watching it and thinking it's incredible and it's inspiring them and convicting them to want to do something to fight child trafficking, you have your critics too. So there's a whole onslaught of media organizations who are critical. I mean, The Guardian, Rolling Stone, Vice, these are media corporations that are typically I found to be very biased, but they're claiming that, saying that child sex trafficking is such a terrible problem, and the way that the movie represents the problem is adjacent to the QAnon conspiracy theory. I'm sure you have thoughts on this, this attack that is coming from some in media. What is your response to that?
Well, I am, first of all, I'm so grateful to God for this opportunity of working in a project bigger than myself. So grateful to be part of this Sound of Freedom movement now. So grateful for the almost 4 million people that show up in theaters this week. That is amazing. That is amazing. And I'm so grateful that these people like CNN and all those guys that you just mentioned, at least they're showing to the people their true colors, who they really are. Because if you're not going to be working together to save children, but you want to actually block the movie, they're telling you who they are. Either they're in fear or they're part of the problem, or they're maybe involved in the crime. I always use this analogy. Imagine this little house full of children, and the house is on fire, right? And then you have this fire truck coming from this direction, this other fire truck coming from this other direction, another fire truck coming from this other direction, and another one, right? When they got there, right in front of the house, when the children are there inside of the house and the house is on fire, this guy tells the other driver, hey, this is my territory. No, this is my territory. The other one, no, this is my zip code. They changed the zip code. No, you want the commission. No, you want the commission. No, you're a thief. No, you're a thief. And they start like arguing. And then what happened when they finished? The kids are dead. They're burned to death. What they should have done is when they get there, they put outside their water hose, bring the fire down, and save the kids. All of them at the same time, right? Then after they save the children, they continue with the arguments. They continue with the debate. It's okay. They did the right thing. They saved the children. Well, there's millions of children on fire right now. Millions of children on fire right now as we speak. Everyone. It doesn't matter if you're left, right, up, down, center. You believe in God. You don't believe in God. It doesn't matter. This is beyond politics. This is beyond everything. This is about children. What if this is your son? What if this is my son? No one has exclusivity to like, okay, only these people can protect children. Everyone, adults, we're responsible for the children. Everyone is responsible. They're the future of the world. They're the future of this world. What kind of decisions they're going to be making in the future if today they're being hurt? No. So for someone not to put the water hose and bring the fire down to save the children, it's because you are part of the problem. It's because you are involved in this crime. And I'm so thankful that at least it's evidence. People can know who they are. Before they used to be very settled and we don't know who is who, but now at least these guys are showing their faces. They're showing who they really are. And I'm very grateful too, because they're helping us with their free marketing. So thank you for trying to destroy our little movie. Because of you guys, the movie was number one. I mean, because of you, people are waking up. Exactly because of people like them, people are tired. People are saying enough is enough. Not in our watch. God's children are not for sale. And you know what people are doing when they watch the movie? Most of them, they take their cameras, the selfie style, and they videotape themselves. And they give us a review. And those are the best reviews. I don't care about a guy who's working in a magazine who maybe he's a pedophile and he's just see this movie and he's like felt threatened and he's going to try to destroy the film because maybe he received a phone call from maybe a top guy, because there's a lot of powerful people involved in this crime. A lot of powerful people. I remember when Tim Ballard told me, Eduardo, before you commit to this, I need to be very honest with you. We have a lot of friends, but we have a lot of enemies. And we will share those enemies with you. Are you okay with that? And you know what? When God calls you to do something, you can't say no. And say, I'm okay with it. You know what? We're going to die one day anyway. My prayer to God every day is like, when you knock at my door, my only desire is, please, I want you to find me working for you. And I'm working for God right now. This is a calling from God. I've been praying every day. I have my most important weapon here, which is my rosary. And every day I go to Mass and I pray the rosary for this project, for these children. So I believe that this movement not CNN, not these guys are going to stop it. It's too late. It's too late. They can take me now. Millions of people, impossible. It's too late. The movement started and it's growing and growing and growing. And the movie just started. We haven't even started fighting yet. This is just the first week. So I want to encourage the people to go and see the movie, buy tickets in angel.com/freedom, buy tickets for you, for your family, or through the Pay It Forward program, you can buy tickets for other families that cannot afford to go, to bring the family to see a movie. And because of your generosity, they can see it for free. After that, the movie's coming out in Mexico, in August, Latin America, Europe, worldwide. And after we release the film everywhere, Elon Musk offered us to show the movie for free on Twitter to the whole world. Can you imagine that? Hundreds of millions of people will see this film. I mean, millions of people will, after seeing the film, they will wake up. And can you imagine that army of love? I mean, fighting for the children of the world. We will end this. We will end this with the help of God.
And these critics that you have, like you say, there's maybe different reasons for them being critics, but the reality is, like, even according to the Department of Labor and other sources, child sex trafficking is a real and growing global problem. What are some of the statistics that people should know about child trafficking happening globally?
Well, first of all, there's more slavery today than when slavery was legal. We're talking about more than 40 million people are living in slavery. And many of them are children. Many of them are children for sexual exploitation, organs traffic, and other things. Every 30 seconds in the world, one child disappears. Every 30 seconds. It's happening everywhere. Next door, behind your house, in every sector. In every sector. Political sector, religious sector, everywhere. In the family. Violencia sexual doméstica, domestic sexual violence. Sometimes the older brother, the grandpa, the father is where that's where it happens even more. This thing is growing and growing and growing because of many reasons. Drugs, lack of values, putting God outside of your house, removing God out of your heart, removing God out of your family, pornography. Child pornography. People get hooked. They become addicted to it. And then they're the future clients. Somebody told me the other day, oh, thank God my children are not the target anymore. How old are your children? And they told me, well, 20, 23, 28, they're the target. What do you mean? They're not children anymore. They're the target because if they have an iPhone or smartphone, if they're not, vigilant of what they are seeing, sometimes maybe someone sent a link, they open it by accident, maybe they saw some images, they say, oh, what is this? And then they start seeing more and more and more. They get hooked, they get addicted. They're the future clients. Everyone is a target, you and I, everyone. We need to really be vigilant. We need to, blessed are those who have their heart pure because they shall see God, right? So this is very important. Social media is super dangerous because we're just watching images and by accident something may have come to you and it's very dangerous. This one is growing. This one is growing. This one is growing. Parents, they need to make sure that what their kids are watching in their smartphones. There's apps right there where you can put the app and then you can watch what they're watching so you can be vigilant. We need parents to be more present with their kids to protect them. This message, this movie, every parent should see this movie. I know that a lot of people, I'm very sensitive with this. Watch it. I don't want to be scared. You should be scared. I'd rather you be scared than being completely like, I don't know what's going on. And then your kid is the next one, evil triumphs when good people remain silent. And if they remain silent, they're not good people anymore because they're part of the problem. We have to do something. This is an opportunity. This movie is more than a movie. It's a movement. And the movie is very well done by Alejandro Monteverde. You don't have to cover your eyes in any, because we have actors that were 5-year-old kids who were on set. They never knew what the film is about. We told them different stories. Their parents were there, and we just wanted the emotion and the tears, for the story. But the whole environment over there was just a family environment. The ambient was just, we had mass every day. The parents were there. The older sisters, the older brothers of the kids were on set. And they thought they were making a movie about children, because we told them different stories. And just to protect their innocence and their purity to every child, because you don't want to bring that problem to the minds of a kid that is 6 years old and you're going to tell him, okay, when this scene, this is what happened to you. No way. If your 5-year-old girl daughter comes to you and say, Mom, what is the F word? It's easy to explain to her. Don't say it. It's a bad word. You don't talk like this because of this reason, blah, 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 blah. But imagine if she comes to you, Mom, what is child pornography? How can you explain? How can you put those thoughts and memory, and scenes? You can't. So for that reason, it was very important that on set, the number one rule, we need to protect the innocence and the purity, because that's exactly what these kids are being stolen. They steal their innocence and their purity, and they mark them forever. They change their lives forever. And this can happen anywhere. Your kid doesn't have to be kidnapped like in the movie or like in many other places. You can be kidnapped in your own house with with an iPhone. You're in the kitchen, you're cooking, your kid is in the room, everything is perfect. He's with an iPad talking to a stranger. Next thing you know, that stranger, which is another kid who maybe is kidnapped, and they use them to connect with your child. And next thing you know, they're friends, and next thing you know, they're exchanging pictures and then other type of pictures, and then they're hooked. And then they threaten these kids. We will kill your mother. We will da 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 da. So we need to be vigilant. Parents, I know that this is a very uncomfortable topic, but you know what? I want to make you uncomfortable so you can wake up and you can protect your children. My sister, I remember the first time I told her about this project, she said, I don't want to know. You hold on a second. If someone should know about this, it's you, because you have kids and they're the target. What? Now she's an ambassador of freedom. She's like a volunteer. She's working hard. And I want to wake up parents so they can protect their children better.
Eduardo, what was the hardest part about making the film? You said it took 8 years. You had roadblocks. Your distribution partner was a major distribution studio, and then they cut distribution on you, and you had to find a new distributor. Tell us what kind of blood, sweat, and tears went into this.
Obstacles from day one. When I met Tim Ballard, of course, the first obstacle was coming. It was like it was fear when he told me what I told you before. I have a lot of friends. We have a lot of enemies. We're going to share them with you. Are you sure? So, of course, the human nature shows up, and there's a little fear there. So right there was like the first obstacle. Oh, my gosh. What should I do? Because then temptations come, right? I mean, the voices are talking to you. Well, maybe I write a check and just give it to them, and then I do my part. No, that's too coward. I mean, that's okay, but not for me. No. I have to do something. So then thank God, he gave me the strength to say yes, right? Then I started telling my friends and some investors, this is my new project. What do you think? Alejandro is going to be writing a masterpiece. Alejandro, he put his pain in this movie. His father and his brother they were kidnapped and killed. My brother, Alejandro, wrote the script with blood and pain, a lot of pain. So, and many of those friends, no, don't do this, Eduardo. This is too dangerous. And again, too dangerous. This fear is coming like, no, yes, it's dangerous. But you know what? It's more dangerous not to do it in the long term. We need to fight now, not tomorrow, now, because these kids are suffering now as we speak. So again, another obstacle. So God gave me the strength to I'm going to do it. I don't care how dangerous it is, right? Then raising the funds was really difficult because a lot of people who they wanted to help, but they know I don't want my name to be there. You know what? No, I changed my mind. I spoke to my wife or I spoke to my business partner, and they don't want me to be involved in this. So come on, guys. What's going on? You all have children and grandchildren. Why are you chicken out? There's ways of doing it if you don't want to put your name there, but no. So they were it was very difficult to raise the funds for this. Finally, after, we finished the script, Other obstacle, for example, the actors. We saw more than 20 actors. They passed. They have my wish list, and wow, everybody passed. Until I told Tim Ballard, I don't know what's going on, brother, but nobody wants to do this film in Hollywood. Do you wanna tell me who is your dream? Who do you want to play you? Who's your dream? What's the actor that you dream to play you? And he said, Jim Caviezel. He said, Jim Caviezel, I never thought about him because he's older than you. He doesn't look like you, and he's taller than you. It doesn't matter. He's not just an amazing actor, but he has the heart that I'm looking for, Eduardo. I need ambassadors. Just like you are spending all these years of your life, I need another actor like you that will dedicate his entire life to end child trafficking. I don't want that you just paid another actor and come and do the movie, goes to the premiere, and he disappear. I want an ambassador, and that guy will be an amazing ambassador. Do you know him? Yes, I'm going to text him right now. So I sent him a text message. I was with Alejandro Monteverde, and he responded right away. Hey, let's meet for a coffee in a couple hours. I went to Calabasas. I met with him. Alejandro pitched the story to him. He started crying. He said, this is too personal to me, Eduardo. I was praying for a project like this. Send me the script now. So we sent him the script. He read it that night. He calls me the next day and he said, well, I have a good news and a bad news. Good news, I'm your guy. Bad news, my wife, she doesn't want me to go to Colombia because she thinks it's too dangerous. I think she just saw Narcos Colombia on Netflix. Okay, well, that's a big challenge. Let me call Tim Ballard. And Tim Ballard answered the phone and I say, I have a good news, brother, and I have a bad news. The good news is like Jim Caviezel is in. He's going to play you in the movie. Bad news is I think she saw Narcos Colombia on Netflix. She's not feeling very good for him to go there. Now, you have to understand, Tim Ballard, he worked in the CIA, so he's a very smart guy. And he said, well, ask her and him if 30 ex-Navy SEALs will be enough to protect him. So I passed the message, solved, green light. We're in Colombia filming. But after the second or the third day, half of those guys were not on set. And I'm like, what's going on with these guys? I'm the producer of the movie, so I know who is on set, 200 people, extras, and all the all the people from the production. And I didn't want to tell anything Jim because I don't want to scare Jim, right? He was very focused on his acting and everything. And for almost a month and a half, these guys were not there. And I pretend like I didn't know. I pretend like I didn't know what was going on until I am reading a local newspaper. A friend of mine from Colombia sent me this article that says that the Colombia government, with the help of the federal police, arrested some traffickers and rescued 200 children who were kidnapped for sexual exploitation in Cartagena, Colombia, for the tourism, who are looking for, having sex with kids. And more details. So I'm like, Tim, look, like this is like in the movie, brother. And he smiled and he said, that was us. What? Yes, half of the guys who were not on set, we did an undercover operation. These guys were walking in the streets of Cartagena, and few guys came to talk to them. Hey, Americanos, gringos, ¿quieres señoritas? You want señoritas? You want señoritas? They thought they were tourists looking for kids. And these guys, because they're experts in rescuing children, they played the game. And how many you have? How old are they? Well, how young you want them? So next thing you know, well, let's meet tomorrow because there's more American guys coming here for action. So they played the entire game. They asked help from the federal police from Colombia, and they gave all the credit to the Colombian government because they needed to stay in the movie for longer. And it was so dangerous for them to take the credit because it will put us in danger. So
wow,
can you imagine?
Incredible.
Thanks be to God that Jim Caviezel's wife said no. So because of that no, that bad news that I thought was bad news turned out to be an amazing news because of her no. Tim Ballard thought about the 30 ex-Navy SEALs, and because of those 30 ex-Navy SEAls, half of them rescued 200 children before the film was even finished. That is amazing.
It's incredible.
That is amazing.
It's absolutely incredible. So Eduardo, you've done so many films. I mean, Little Boy, Bella, before that you had a whole other career in Mexico, and you've done so much, but you're just beginning in some ways. I know that besides being an entrepreneur and a filmmaker and a humanitarian, you have your eyes on political service. What can you share with people about that? There's rumors that you may be running for the president of Mexico.
Well, I mean, you don't have to be a politician to serve. I think we are all called to serve. Mother Teresa said we are, if we were not living our lives to serve others, then our lives means nothing, right? So we're called to serve. And I found my vocation 20 years ago when I made a promise to God that I would never use my talents to do anything that would offend my faith, my family, or my Latino culture. After I made that promise, I ended up not working for 4 years because every offer that I got was exactly what the things that I promised I would never do. So I was led to open a production company so I can have the power to control the message. The first fruit of that mission, Bella, then Little Boy, and now Sound of Freedom. But always trying to work with politics, art, the combination of politics, art, ethics, values to serve the nations, but always from the field of the, of filmmaking, right? That was like what I've been doing since the last 20 years. My experience with Son of Freedom, as I was mentioned to you, all these obstacles, and then when the film was finished, and then all the, Fox used to own the film, and then Disney bought Fox, and now Disney owned the film, and I started negotiating with them. They didn't want the film, so I took the movie back from them, and then I started knocking doors. Netflix and Amazon, everybody passed. Finally, after 3 years of like, what am I going to do? I was praying for an angel to come to rescue this movie, and Angel Studios came, rescued the movie, and because of them, this movie is being seen by millions. So after all this success, of course, and traveling all over Mexico with this film, asking every governor of each state to host a screening and to invite all the leaders of the state so we can sign an agreement with a commitment to end child trafficking. After all these tours and the same tour that I did with Unplanned, when I bought the rights for Unplanned, I did 32 premieres in Mexico, again, inviting all the legislators and all the different leaders of every sector. People start asking me, Eduardo, why don't you give that step forward? Why don't you, we need an outsider. Why don't you, we want to create this independent movement for you so you can run for president of Mexico as the outsider, because we are tired of politicians. We are tired of political parties telling us the same thing over and over and over. Mexico is a very rich country where a lot of poor people are living. There's more poverty. There's more insecurity. There's more of the bad, and people are tired, and we're looking for a different option. So I've been thinking about it. I've been praying about it. At the end of the day, it has to be God's will. It's not what I want to do. Every project I go, I fast and I pray and I ask God, in this process of discernment, this is from you, open the doors. If it's not from you, close the doors. And this project it will be the biggest project of my life, of course. So I'm praying, I'm asking people to pray for me. Actually, I started just a couple of weeks ago, I started this period of a very profound and deep prayer and fasting, because I have to answer very soon. I'm going to make this decision very soon. You'll be the first ones to know. But I'm praying for God's will be done. And you will know what the answer will be very soon. And please pray for me. I invite everyone that is seeing this interview, please pray for Mexico. Pray for the children of Mexico, for the families of Mexico, for the children of the world, and for this decision that I have to make very soon, that I will obey whatever God wants me to do.
Eduardo, thank you so much. I encourage everyone to go see Sound of Freedom, and we will be praying as you discern for that move. I think you'd be a fantastic president of Mexico. You have my endorsement, but we're excited to follow your work in the future, and I know God is doing incredible things through your life, so thank you for your service and your yes. No,
thank you. Thank you for your yes and for your service, and I admire you a lot. I respect you a lot. You're an amazing warrior. You're an amazing role model for men and women, and I think this is the time where we need to come together, Mexico and United States. We're not just neighbors, we're brothers. and sisters, and I believe that we can make Mexico and America free again and great together. So God bless you for everything you're doing.
Thank you, Eduardo.